that was whew, disappointing your parents. That's probably the that was the hardest. The because you
Mm,
of course want to make them as proud. They're your parents, but it was I had to make a decision. I'm doing this for y'all or I'm doing this for me. And it just
yep.
sounds tough, but there's a balance in between. And there's a way to do it kindly as well. Like to have those conversations. You don't have to just drop everything and, disrespect them at any point. You can
Yeah.
always just talk about these things. But at the time I didn't know what my feeling, I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know how to kind of contain all that. And I wish if I could go back then, that would have been the first thing I did was have a conversation first. Like, let me
Yeah.
explain this to y'all how I feel, and maybe then we can find this path together for me. But it worked out in his favor at the end of the day.
Oh no.
Yup.
They don't get it. It's okay. We get
And I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Whew, we going in it. Now let's get it.
it.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men to ever emphasize.
That intro sounds like much more than who I actually am.
All right. So, in my opinion, my guest of honor is the king of Instagram content. His videos and posts provide inspiration, entertainment, and most importantly, education. He has mastered the art of using technology to spread vital information and good vibrations. His goal is to use his social media platforms and talents to encourage others to move every day and live a happy, healthy lifestyle through fitness, wellness, and healthy eating. He currently serves as a technical owner of an enterprise-wide tool at IBM. In his free time, he's an online NASM certified personal trainer. He recently started a sea moss gel business called Magic Moss, and he's been plant-based since January 2020. He's been married for 3 years to a beautiful queen, born and raised in Flint, Michigan, and now he resides in Austin, Texas. Today, my guest of honor is Justin Makoha. How you doing?
Well, and that intro was awesome. You got me feeling good.
Well, look, I really do feel that way. I said, man, your posts are so cool to me. Like, it has the entertainment factor, education, and I feel like it inspires a lot of people.
That's awesome. And that's the goal is just to entertain but inspire, but try to attract as many people as I can to the content.
Yeah, well, you do a good job. Some people don't do that well. I know I struggle with it. That's why I think it's so cool to see how y'all utilize your platform. So
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
tell me how quarantine has been going for you.
Well, it's been going, so I can't lie, it's been going actually really well. I've seen a lot of folks that have been kind of really struggling, but we were talking briefly about this, and I couldn't agree more. I'm kind of in your boat where I'm using this time wisely. I haven't had so much free time where I'm not on the road, like kind of going to and from work, as my commute is a little long. And so I'm saving a lot of time during the day, so I'm trying to use that time to stay productive and stay busy.
Yeah.
But being like with myself, being with my family, my wife and our two dogs here, to stay busy, I'm learning how to watch more YouTube videos and get pour knowledge into myself. Find more ways to kind of be more self-aware. How can I build better habits on a day-to-day? So I started with my morning habits. Okay, I want to make a smoothie, I want to make breakfast, but I want to be consistent with it, and that's something I can practice,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm probably going to work from home for the next little while. So I'd say overall, I cannot lie. My quarantine has been going. I feel like going really well, and I don't mind this. I don't. If my employer tells me I can work from home for the rest of this next year, I'm cool with that too. But yeah, no, they're going really well.
Good. I'm happy to hear that because I think a lot of people feel like since the world has stopped, you have to. But I honestly don't feel that that's what has to happen. You use the time you have to like make things better because we will come out of it at some point.
Yes,
I don't know what it's gonna look like, but we'll come out of it eventually.
yes,
Well,
absolutely, yes, and I couldn't agree more to that because it's like you think about it, like okay, when this ends, how do you want to come out? Do you want to come out the same way that you got into this, or do you want to come out a brand new person to shine on them? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, I love the fact that you're not from Texas because that means we get to have different perspectives. Because I feel like most of my people are from Texas, So you're honorary now because you've been here for a while. So tell me how has growing up in Michigan taught you different things or impacted your mindset?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So growing up in Michigan, I was born and raised in Flint, and a little bit more background. Like when I was 8 or so, or no, I think I was a little bit older, maybe around 12. My family moved. My
Hmm.
mom had a job at GMC, and we had to move to Indianapolis for a couple of years. Then we moved to Texas for a couple of years, and then we moved back to Michigan, and that's where I had started middle school, and I was in high school, and then that from there, that's when I came officially to Texas, as an adult. But I'd say growing up in Michigan and living in different cities, it put me around a lot of different types of people,
Hmm.
and I that's what I'm thankful for, because that gives me a perspective of, okay, I had to learn how to adapt at a very early age, and how to learn how to talk to different types of folks in order to connect. Because as a kid, I just want to make friends, I just want to be cool. But
Yeah.
to me, I feel like I felt like I had to learn how to talk to these people in order to do so. So I've had the opportunity to meet a wide range of different, so interesting people, and that I feel like gave me an advantage, because coming to Texas, I then, like, kind of starting in working with technology. I started my first, like, I feel like my first real job was at Apple, but
Hmm.
I feel like I had the advantage there, because I could talk to anybody that came in the store and help them relate to their technology and be productive in their personal lives with this tool that they have in front of them.
Hmm.
So that's probably one of the biggest things I take away from growing up in Michigan and living in a couple of different cities in the meantime as well, was adapting to my environment, learning how to talk to all these different types of people. And I being me. That was probably that's and to this day, that's something I'm still learning. I'm sure we all are, but that was probably the biggest lesson I've taken, is that adaptation from living in that Flint city.
If you can adapt, you can do anything because that really is the key to life. Being able to adapt to different situations and elevate from there. So that's actually a really great life skill to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree.
Yeah, that's one of the best. I feel like a lot of kids they don't get it because they feel like everything's supposed to be perfect, but you got to roll with the punches. So I'm glad that you have that, especially coming down here. I remember you telling me that you went to school but you didn't finish, and I'm grateful. I'm glad that you are a living testament that you don't have to finish school to be successful. I think that kids should know that you can go any route. Like if you want to go trade school, if you want to start working, you want to start a business, whatever you want to do, I think it's important that they know that those options are available. So could you tell me a little bit about your background with education and then how it led you to your career?
Sure, sure. Wow. So this is something I really don't talk about too often, but I love talking about it, because I agree with you. Everybody's journey is different. You got to find what you love and what you're passionate about.
Hmm.
So in school, uh, whoo. So in college, really, I that's like when I was growing up, I loved Legos, and I loved putting things together with my hands. Whenever my family got a new piece of furniture, it was always me to put it together, because I just love that. I love constructing. So my parents always told me, because my father's a doctor, and my mother was a district manager at this huge company, right? So of course I'm thinking, okay, I gotta fill jump in their footsteps. And it was at an early age. I was like, yeah, I want to be an engineer.
Ooh.
I want to be an engineer, and of course, my parents were like, "Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to be." So I said that, not knowing what that entailed. And when I was in school, I got there, and of course, I'm not around my parents. I'm not around the folks that were really pushing me. Um,
Hmm.
so I started doing me, and I realized, wow, it's this is I love doing me versus, and I realized I was okay. I'm following the footsteps of not really what I want to do, and that's when I realized I didn't have a passion in going to these physics classes. Or I loved math. I was really good at math. I got great grades in math, but like physics and what was it? There was just one class. Oh, I took it out of my mind because I didn't want to think about it no more for the rest of my life. but but anywho, in school, it didn't take me long, of course, because we were paying for it too. That school that it wasn't really the right thing for me, and that's actually my mom told me because I wasn't doing well at the University of Michigan Flint. She was saying, "Yeah, okay, you're going to transfer to Dallas. You're going to move to Dallas and go to a school with your that where your father teaches because my dad is a professor." And so I did that, and I moved to Texas. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, we were still together, and it was a hard move, right? But
Yeah.
that's when I started working at Apple, and then still going to a community college. And I was at Apple as a part-time specialist because I love working on Apple products. I love that technology. So yeah, part-time specialist. It was cool. And then right as soon as I started, I realized, man, I love talking to people and teaching people how to use these devices. Like I saw it was really enlightening when those older couples in their 60s, 70s came in as a couple with these devices and they would leave the store with so much knowledge, of course, because they come into the Apple store asking what they ask their grandkids and their kids, but the kids don't want to give them that, they don't want to take the time to sit down and teach them. But that, it's okay, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we were there for. We were there to fill that void. And I saw how it changed their lives literally. And that's when I started focusing more on Apple. And I told, I think I had a conversation with my father that, you know, we're paying for this, but I'm not really getting much out of this. And I think I just didn't sign up for a semester. Like, I'm just gonna take a semester off. And of course, I didn't tell him that, and I just did it. And, and that was a whole, and that was a whole ordeal. But but that's when I started thriving, when I started actually doing something for me, right? And I got full time at Apple, and then okay, I made it to the Genius Bar. I'm a genius now. Like that title alone was dope. I got to
Yeah.
work on computers, and then Apple sent me to California. They sent me to California for 3 weeks for a training, absolutely free.
Wow.
And I started really living in my passion, and then I became a trainer at that same store for the entire Dallas market. I was able to teach any new hire, whether you're a manager or a part-time specialist, um, how to be an Apple employee, and that I was the guy for Dallas, right? So Apple overall taught me what I'm good at, and then I took that and I ran with it. And then I realized, okay, man, I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at teaching. I can be in front of a classroom or in front of a large group, and I can use my energy to help people connect to this. And it could be a whole. The audience could be filled with all different types of folks, but I can find a way to connect to everybody.
Hmm.
And I felt good about that. That was the first time really in my life that I knew what I was good at. And it felt awesome. I didn't play sports in high school. I hung out with my friends, but I really didn't really have a passion except for just turning up. That's all I was good at. And that's just the real. But yeah, and then at Apple, one of my buddies that left Apple, he left Apple for IBM, and he referred me like, hey, there's a Mac help desk position. They pay almost double what you're making now. Apple's being good to you, but think about this. So I applied, and of course I got the job, and we moved. My wife and I moved. She moved down a year after I came to Texas. She dropped everything just to be with me. And at that moment I was like, oh yeah, she's wifey,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's the wife.
But use it. But yeah, then I got to the help desk in Austin. We moved. We got an apartment in Austin. My first time being in Austin, and everybody was saying like, "Yeah, Austin is the best city in Texas." Yeah, yeah, no beef to any other city and anybody who's listening. But I was like, "Yeah, I've never been, but I guess it'll be cool." And of course, I came to Austin, and it literally has been the best city that I've ever lived in. The people were awesome. I've had great. I've never said this about any city, but I have great interactions with police, and that's something that doesn't happen for people that like us, and that's something that
Hmm.
was special that stuck out to me. But also like the technology scene was great. There's food trucks everywhere. There's trails. This is perfect fitness. Like everything was great. But yeah, so yeah, and then yeah, from there at the help desk, I became the trainer at the help desk as well. And then from there, I transitioned into my current position as the technical owner of a tool for all of IBM. And just that being said, it's really those intangibles, and that's what I feel that these employers are looking at, especially in technology. I am now in the position where I'm interviewing for folks to join the team that I'm on.
Wow.
And it's something special. There's something special in that because I can see what these employers are looking for. They're not looking for what's on the paper. We're looking for who is going to collaborate well to help us succeed and bring innovation to our team. And
Hmm.
those are the people that are working well with people. We are the first thing on our grade sheet is how are what is their team fit 1 to 10, how do you feel like they're on team fit, so that's what these employers are looking for these days. But anywho, those intangibles, those skills that you can't teach, um I've learned that if you can take those and make it your own and learn still, learn the best way that you can to help interact and connect with people and find what you're good at, you can be successful with anything, and that don't take it like you can still go to school and learn all types of things, but that just wasn't the journey for me. But I found success in the path that I was taking, and just taking what I've learned growing up and working towards it every day, working with people, working hard at it too,
Hmm.
showing up to work, being on time, and managing my time as well. And at the end of the day, that's helped me get to the position I'm in now.
That's amazing. First of all, it's cool because your journey, it was just like a journey of self-discovery. And it
Yes.
seems like once you got that identity, that one piece of your identity, you were like, oh, this feels great. I'm about to run. I'm going this way. I
And
love that. Like, because
yes.
most people will settle and be like, well, my parents aren't gonna, like this. So I'm gonna just settle. And then they're 50 and then they want to chase their dreams. So I love that you did that. And
Right.
yeah,
And
and
I would say that was, whew, disappointing your parents. That was the hardest. Because you
mm,
of course want to make them as proud. They're your parents, but it was I had to make a decision. I'm doing this for y'all or I'm doing this for me. And it just
yep,
sounds tough, but there's a balance in between. And there's a way to do it kindly as well. Like to have those conversations. You don't have to just drop everything and disrespect them at any point. You can
yeah,
always just talk about these things. But at the time, I didn't know what my feeling. I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know how to kind of contain all that. And I wish if I could go back then, that would have been the first thing I did was have a conversation first. Like, let me
yeah,
explain this to y'all how I feel, and maybe then we can find this path together for me. But it worked out in his favor at the end of the day.
definitely did. It definitely worked out. So I'm glad they understood and they let you do what you do. And now you have what you got going on
Yes.
now. So um I want to ask you, like, how did you know that it was time to start your own business?
Oh, yes, yes. How did I know it was time to start my own business?
Mm,
I think it was, yeah, I remember the first business I started was Fit with Fitness. I knew that I had something that I was good at, and I found that I had time throughout the day to waste, and I I wanted to make more money. Those are the three things.
that's all right.
And I knew that, okay, those are the three things. And I knew that if I took a leap or if I learned something new with this time that I had at the end I could still fulfill my passion with helping others, and I can make something out of it for myself too. But the hardest part was envisioning that for myself. Like, can I see myself? Am I an entrepreneur? Is that what they call it? How do I put myself in these shoes when and especially if you don't see anybody else that's following your exact same path, doing the same thing that
Hmm.
you're doing? Like, how can I compare? How can I create this for myself? But it was really just taking that leap, and that's I'm so grateful that I did that. It's being comfortable. My mom always told me you can't be great until you're comfortable outside your comfort zone.
She's
And now
right.
what I'm finding is it's when I'm yes, and what I'm finding is when I'm uncomfortable, that's when I grow, and that's when things get better, and that's when I get better. So when I knew I had time, I had something I was good at. I wanted to dive into something, and I wanted to make some more money. I put all those pieces together, and that's when I started lurking of how do I get a certification in fitness, and how can I teach others, and let me just start at one. Let me start with step one. Let me get the certification, and then I will find out because I'm passionate in this. I can work with people. I will
Hmm.
work on that next, but let me start there, and that's when I start. That's when I knew I had to take that dive.
That's awesome. So that's what got you into getting your certification. But what ultimately made you choose health and wellness
Oh
overall?
yes. Oh, overall.
Hmm.
So it was. it was, man, it was actually when we first moved to Austin, and we moved again, and of course all my Dallas people, I had to start in a brand new city over again.
Hmm.
It's a good job. My wife, she was successful too. She was doing her own thing with her job as well. But at one point, I actually started to, the more self-aware I become, the more I started to become depressed because I didn't know how to handle my emotions. And nobody told me growing up as a black man, you and even black women too, we in our environments, we're not around our people usually all the time. So in order to adapt, we have to learn how to suppress and act accordingly, right? But basically in that journey, I found that I've never had to express myself, and especially like trying to build a relationship with my wife, I had to learn. I gotta talk about my feelings. I gotta tell her how I feel, or else she's
Yeah.
never gonna know, right? And was the hardest thing for me to do. So something that helped me cope was, let me go to the gym that's in our apartment complex. Let me see if that makes me feel good. And letting out those endorphins like that, being in the gym, working out, that made me feel good every single time I hit the gym. And it was like my getaway, my self-care. And that's when I started to realize, oh, I need to, in order for me to be successful in my relationship, or successful around the people around me in my job, I have to take care of actually me first.
Yes.
And taking care of me, a big piece of that was fitness. And then what came next was, my wife and I talking about, okay, how can we eat better? Let's not eat out all the time. Let's learn how to cook. And that's when we started getting into wellness and different things. And then my wife introduced me actually to CMOS, and these things that make me feel good. And it's when I started feeling better, not only physically but mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally, I realized, I gotta share this, yo. I know I'm not the only one that's been at this low point and is trying to climb out, and there's different ways to do it for different folks, but I know fitness and wellness that worked for me. So I want to share this with as many people as I can.
Yeah. And I feel like in our neighborhoods and in our culture, we don't talk about that enough because we're just so used to eating everything that's just cooked. You eat what's available, right? So I think that it's important to
Yes,
share that information because I mean, we would never know. We would never know. So I know that you've been plant-based since January.
absolute facts.
How's that going? Being plant-based?
Yeah, yeah. I've loved it. It's whoo, the beginning was tough. I would say that. But I've loved it. I've seen a lot of, physical growth, but it was being plant-based is more a mental journey than anything. As like
Absolutely.
you were just mentioned, like you were just saying, in our neighborhoods, like we praise, this huge feast at Thanksgiving, all some yams, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? That sounds actually real good right now. Um, but that's what we're used to, right? So a big part of that journey was conditioning, like no realizing I'm conditioned to go to get some fast food if I want something quick, or go eat this to try to make me feel good. Oh, I got the itis. I know that food was good, and I had to train myself to understand, what does that actually mean? What does the itis mean? This heavy feeling. It's actually it is. Whew, there's so many things I want to unpack with this, but I'm gonna be short. I'm not gonna go on a rant about
No,
this,
you're
but
fine.
but
You're
it
fine.
was
I
it
get it.
was the journey has been really, the journey overall has just been kind of, I wouldn't say unlearning, but learning new ways to feel good, and learning new ways and techniques to give my body what it needs. Learning what these foods actually, how they impact my body.
Yeah,
What makes me feel energized throughout the day? What makes me mentally right on, ready to do a training or whatever. Um, and that has been absolutely super beneficial, because now I feel I can share that with others as far as the types of foods to eat, or even how to start going plant-based, because I would not recommend somebody to go cold plant-based. Like we started at the end of 2019, my wife and I, we did a no dairy challenge for a week, and that was tough because of course
yeah,
we just cut it all out, but we didn't know there was alternatives to cheese or alternatives to milk that some of them taste way better than the regular versions.
absolutely.
um and it also is learning what that actually does to your body. But like taking it slow. If that's something that's anybody is thinking about, like, try to cut out cheese, and see, but start with one piece at a time. That's what I recommend for anybody that's thinking about going plant-based. But the journey has been great. I've learned how to cook all different types of plates with my wife. I have to keep putting it back. She's back there. But I've learned to cook all different types of things or habits. I've saved actually some money going out to eat all the time. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Whew, that's a whole piece of its own. But yeah, this journey has been something great. Now I was only going to do it for 1 year, but I think I'm going to continue because I've learned with my senses that it's how I feel actually feels better than how food tastes. And that
Yes.
was a whole shift in itself. So
Yes. Let me tell you something. It only gets better as you keep going. I've been vegan for 4 years. And I will tell you the best thing about it's like, yeah, I've been vegan for 4 years. I lost 109 pounds. So yeah, and I'm still going, but
ooh,
the weight I feel is the reason why I'm staying on it. Like,
ooh, if I had appropriate PSI,
but yeah,
that's what's up.
it's gonna only get better.
That's really what.
So I agree with everything you just said because for me,
Wow.
people, whenever I tell people that, they're like, "But what do you eat?" I'm like, "Food, real food, actually." Shoot. But when
Facts.
real
Hey, that's
food,
goals. I'm inspired right now. 4 years.
your mental will be so much sharper and like you'll be able to access your creativity like that. Like for me, it's very easy for me to get in my zone, which I was just like, wow, I didn't know it was gonna do all of that. Like I didn't know. So keep at it.
Those are all facts. Yes. Wow. I got a whole resource now. I didn't know you were vegan for 4 years. We're about to chop it up. But
Yeah.
anywho, I'm inspired. But that's where I want to go. That's it. Really, it's that creativity piece. Because now I can,
Mhm.
you were talking about content in my intro. First of all, that was a dope intro. But anywho, like when I used to struggle to create that content, but now it's like, okay, this is an idea that I have, and it's easy for me to make it come to life.
Mhm.
One of the biggest pieces was going to work because I have to be sharp at work because we have to create every day. There's something new.
Mhm.
It's not we're a project management team, so we may get a new project. We got to work on it. We got to use our problem solving skills to create custom solutions for these interesting problems that we see for our tools. So I knew that I had to get better, and that was something that's drastically, and that's something I don't even have to think about at work now because I feel sharp every day that I
Mhm.
come into work. So I'm glad that you called that creativity
Yeah.
part piece out, and also that I wanted to take away. As something I can't go backwards on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you also have to remember you're trying to change something that you've done your entire life. So with you making those small strides,
Yes.
it helps your confidence because you're like, if I can change that, I can do anything. Like literally, that's my mindset. Like if I can
Yes.
change how I eat, I can do anything. So it's gonna help you in that
Yes.
area too.
Yes. Yes. Tell these folks, because oh man, that's exactly how it is. With your diet, like that was one thing I feel like I could never. I When I moved to Texas, Whataburger, I couldn't tell you how many times weekly I went to Whataburger. I won't say daily because I don't want to call myself out,
Man,
but
it's the best
it's
though.
embarrassing.
It was
It's
the
the
best.
best. And when I got off Whataburger, I was like, I can build a building right now. Anything is possible, yo.
Anything is
But
possible.
anywho, I think it's possible. I
Anything is
swear. Yo.
possible. That's so funny.
Yes. Man,
Would you
I
tell
love
the
it.
people what magic moss is and the benefits of it?
Oh, absolutely. So, magic moss is actually an Irish sea moss. It's a red algae that's found in the sea. It's usually on the coast, right? And it's completely natural. It's not an actual, it's not a seaweed. They call it a red algae, but it's not technically red. It comes in, it's like a beige or it sometimes comes in purple as well. Um, And it was my wife was how I got introduced to it. My wife was watching like a Dr. Sebi video one day. She was like, "Oh, I heard about this thing called sea moss, and people are starting to try it, and we should give it a shot." It was super
Mhm.
cheap online. Of course, we had to make it ourselves, but it was that's another adventure, on this plant based journey. So we were like, "Yeah, let's try we got it. But overall, so what sea moss is it contains, it has 92 of the body's 102 minerals that it needs. It holds 92 of them. I haven't heard of anything in the world that has as many minerals. It was like a super vitamin in a way, but it's something
Yeah.
I could take naturally. Doesn't have any additives because it literally grows in the sea. And we mix it. You have to soak it with water and then blend it. And it turns into this gel form that you can store in the refrigerator. It lasts up to 3 or 4 weeks in the fridge, depending on what type of water that you use, right? But overall, there's so many different benefits. The biggest benefit for me, well, there's many, but I think in Texas, the allergies out here are terrible, especially in Austin, right? And I struggled with it big time. But if I take my sea moss, sea moss clears out the daily, and I realized, oh, I don't have to take my allergy medicine. Also, the energy that's packed in sea moss, I don't drink caffeine, so I take my sea moss in the morning. I'll start say this. If I don't take my CMOS, it's usually around like, 6 or 7. I'm tired. I'm mentally tired. I don't want to do a workout. I usually work out in the evenings. It's a little different than a normal schedule, but usually work out in the evenings. But I get lazy. But if I take my CMOS in the morning, that energy that I get lasts. It's a steady energy that lasts all day long. It's till about 11 or 12 when I realize, dang, I better go to bed or else in the morning I'm gonna be super tired. I
Yep.
gotta force myself. And so it's the energy. It helps with their blood flow as well. It has a lot of iron and calcium in it, potassium. Um, those 92 minerals. It helps with your sex health, with women's libido. It helps with men's. Imagine what it could do for you. So
Mhm.
to the audience. But it helps with. Um, I've had my. It was one of my. I don't want to say. I don't want to say customers. I don't like that word, but I guess one of my users. She's in her 60s, and I went on her radio show this last couple of weeks, and she was telling me that when she was taking her CMOS, she has arthritis in her knees. And one day, after it was like day 2, she stood up and just walked to the kitchen and started doing stuff. And she realized, oh, my knees aren't hurting anymore. Like I got
Yeah.
up without having feeling any pain, and she thinks it was because of the CMOS. And I almost teared up in the middle of the podcast because that's amazing, yo. Um, but yeah, so it has many benefits. But yes, and basically I jar it up. I call it magic mouse because I feel it does your body wonders. Like because it helps boost your metabolism as well. And it's a great post recovery workout because it helps you replenish those vitamins and minerals that your body loses during your workouts as well. Um, so I love it. I take it in the morning. Usually I take it after my workouts, just a little bit after my workouts. Usually my biggest doses in the morning. Um,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, that's what CMOS is. And my magic moss, I got it. It's all on my Instagram. There's videos of me making protein. You can add it to your smoothies. You can add it to just a mixer bottle and just shake it up because it blends well. You can add it to your coffees, your teas, 3 to 4 scoops, 2 to 3 scoops, whatever your preference is. And you can add it to soups as well and porridges and grits, all types of stuff. And it's consistentless. It doesn't have any taste. I can't drink it. I can't have it straight because I gag a little bit because it doesn't have any taste at all. So I got to mix it with something. But it's great, and it's something that since we started taking it about a year and a half ago, before we went plant based, we haven't. Our household has never been without it. It's
Yeah.
something
That
that if you're pregnant, you can have it. It's a gem for sure.
sea moss is amazing. So go ahead and tell them. Go ahead and drop your handles. Go ahead and tell them where they can come get yours.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can either email us at magicmoss@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram, Justin Makoha, Makokha. And you can DM me. You can look at my videos. You can just reach out to me directly. We'll have a website up soon, actually in November. That's when we're going to launch. But we'll have a website up soon, me and my business partner. But in the meantime, you can always get it from me. I make my batches every single weekend, but I only ship it fresh. So I ship it on Mondays and Wednesdays every single week. So anytime that you want something, you just reach out to me and I'll get you on the next shipment. Um, And yeah, come get your magic moss because it's lit, you know.
It is. I can agree with your client with your her saying that she doesn't feel her arthritis like that because even recovery after a workout, like I'm not as sore as I would be. Like it definitely works.
Yes,
It definitely works.
yes.
I
It's
need
it's
to.
it's wild how much energy I have even after my workout. I'm like, man, should I do some more? Like I literally have to question, like, I think I'm done for the day. Let me chill out, you know.
Yeah.
And it's great, you know.
You're
It's
like,
great.
I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go home now.
Facts. It's so like, stop, bro, stop.
It's so funny. One of the things I love about your online presence is you have your wife right by your side. Like she does workouts with you. She is on there, and I can tell that your connection is great, and y'all support each other for sure. Tell me what she means to you. Like, how has she helped you throughout this journey?
Woo! Oh man, where do I start? Oh my gosh. Ah man, I'm so grateful for my wife. So I think so. The first piece of it was she taught me, I say absolutely, and I said this in my vows to her, but she taught me actually how to love, what love means, you know. My family loved me. My family means the world to me, right? Growing up, I didn't we didn't show a lot of, I wouldn't say affection, but we didn't show a lot of, you know, hugs and let me kiss you on the cheek. And like, that wasn't really a part of, you know. So I saw love differently, right? But in a relationship, she taught me, okay, this is how I feel like, man, I wish I could talk to every man in the world right now, but this is how you listen. You know, this is how you receive what I'm actually telling you. You know, this is how we communicate. You know, this is how we talk to each other. This is how we show each other love. You know, we may receive love differently as well. That's okay, but this is how you express yourself. You know, she taught me really the foundation of what love really means and what a relationship really means, and that's something that I think of for every single day. Because now I can show, you know, we have two dogs, but the way that I watch her, you know, express how she loves these two animals, it's amazing because I didn't know that was possible. And she does the
Mhm.
same thing with even more. It's amazing with kids that she loves. Like she wants to be a teacher, you know, and she does the same thing like with kids that she's around, or like her nieces and nephews, and it's beautiful. But that's one thing. And you know, in the journey, she taught me also how to express myself. You know, how to she naturally knows how to express herself and talk about the things that she's struggling with, the things that she doesn't like that I'm doing. You know, she'll come to me straight, like, I think let's talk about this. And it took me a while to get used to that and understand that I can do the same thing too. If there's something
Mhm.
I'm uncomfortable with or I want to talk about, or it's okay to express that, but it doesn't have to be a fight. And that's
Yeah.
something I had to really learn. Like if I disagree, it doesn't have to be all bad, you know?
Yeah.
And same thing, like it was something that we worked on together. Um, and whew, and she taught me also, she fulfilled, in, instilled a lot of confidence in me as well, because you know, although I felt like I was good, like I had a passion in doing things like talking to people, I didn't really put my foot forward until she told me, like, bro, you are good at this. Like she called me bro, but she was like, you are good at this. You know, you need to do this. Like keep working at it, keep trying. You know, I believe in you. And she instilled that confidence that, you know, I probably can do this, you know. Okay,
Mhm.
let me say yes to this. Let me say yes to this talk or yes to this interview because I can do this, you know. Um, and you know, and then she also, a big piece was she has very strong values that she believes in, right? And her values may change depending on her growth. You know, in one stage of her life, she may have thought this, but after she learned all these different things, that may have evolved a little bit, you know. But she still holds on to her core values, and she taught me how to hold on to my values and what values I have. And first off, she taught me that I need to first. She didn't say this, but it was kind of like unconscious, not unconscious, not, or not subconscious. It's subconscious. I think subconsciously, basically taught me. I said unconscious, but basically taught me that I need to learn how to have my own values and find out what my purpose is. And that
Yeah.
was, man, I there's a whole list, but though if we need, since we only got an hour, those are the main topics, you know, that I'd say that she taught me, you know, and I'm forever grateful for that woman. Like I'm blessed.
Yeah. Having a partner is a major thing.
Yeah, no problem.
A great partner, having just a good circle of people around you that is really there to like cheer you on. That's a
Yes.
blessing. It's a huge blessing.
Oh, yes. Those real ones, especially the real ones that can tell you. I look at, for a long time, I looked at, well, I got all these friends, but it wasn't until I started getting older that I realized, oh, I only got, there's only these select that we actually got each other's back. And we're gonna
Right.
look out for each other. And now when we call each other our, and not like best friends or friends, we call each other accountability partners because we can come
Yeah.
to each other knowing that, okay, if I have this idea, you'll tell me the real life, maybe this is a good idea, or and they'll give me that, that boost, or they'll tell me like, think about this in this way, but you want those folks that got your back, that you can listen to, or excuse me, that you can talk to, express yourself openly with. They won't judge you, and they'll give you that real. That having that circle, I couldn't. That is absolutely super valuable, super super valuable. I couldn't agree
Major
more.
key. That's a major key.
Facts.
So let me ask you this. So what would you say are your 5 non-negotiables when it comes to like friendships and relationships? What must you
Ooh,
have?
ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Well, I'll tie this to relationships. So, oh man. Well, I say one, laughter. I find I find laughter, like those deep belly laughs. I feel like that's almost a form of intimacy. If you
Yeah.
can laugh with your partner, or even like in your circle, that's a major key because you want to be able to share things that you enjoy. You want to be able to smile. So laughing together. For me, when it comes to relationships specifically, I'd say intelligence. I don't want somebody that agrees with everything that I do. I want somebody that will challenge my thoughts, challenge my thinking, uh, challenge, make me think differently about my thoughts, or give me a new perspective. Let me jump into somebody else's shoes, show me something new. I want that to expand my mind. That's a huge key. So
Hmm.
intelligence, with relationships, I think of family as well. My first thoughts, as a Virgo, I think of in the future, okay, what is our family going to look like? But of course I think about, okay, who do I want to bring around my family? My family is super special to me, and they mean a lot to me, but I don't want to just, I don't want to bring bad energy around y'all. I want to bring somebody that y'all can share that with.
Hmm.
And then I think about, okay, I think about building all the time, and of course something I'm still to this day practicing is, of course, living in the moment. But I always think about, okay, what will our family look like if we're together? We build something of our own. Will that work?
Hmm.
Um, and another non-negotiable is drive. I want you to have, drive, something that you're passionate about. You don't have to have the exact same drive, but we don't have to be grinding back to back, but you have to have some kind of drive to, push your own goals. I want you to succeed as well. I want to see you win just as much as, I want to see myself win, right?
Hmm.
And relationships, she just got to be fine. That's
Say that's a
you
part
know
of it. He said that's a part of it.
that's but of course, that's not everything. Like I mentioned, like that was the last thing, of course, but
I mean, it's a
uh,
big part though, because you have to
it's
be
a
attracted to the person that you're with. Like realistically, that's
facts.
actually a good one.
Yes, yes, you get it. Yes, you get it. But is
a
that
lot
five?
of
Yeah, those are five.
a lot of people lie to themselves about that, and then they get in a situation, and then they kind of stuck for a little while because you weren't
Yeah,
honest with yourself. I think that's smart.
and that's it. That's that self-awareness piece. It comes back full circle, yo.
Hmm. Self-awareness is the best thing you can ever have. Spend some time with yourself and figure out what you like, and
Yes,
how you move is fine. You got to figure that out.
yes, 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 yes. A real quick piece on that. When in my, I would say, journey, I'd had to find different ways to learn what self-awareness was. And I think one of the biggest pieces was, I went to my, first off, anybody that doesn't know this, if you work at a corporate job or a big name job or a big name company, even it doesn't even matter what position, they usually offer some type of free counseling, like free tutoring or counseling that we can meet up with the therapist. They give you like 5 or 6 sessions for free, and that was something I was hidden in our HR department. But anyways, I got a therapist, and I was talking to him, and I was explaining to him, this is how I feel about this, and this is how I feel about this, and I think this is how this is going to go. But what's your perception on this? And he told me, like, the biggest piece when people walk into my office, the main thing that I have to teach is self-awareness. But you have that self-awareness piece, and now you just have to build on that. And that resonated more than I feel like I expressed to him, because I didn't know that that's what that was. That's me talking to myself on my mind, like rethinking my actions. I didn't know that that's what that was. And there's a lot of people out there that don't have that don't talk to themselves, and they don't have that self-awareness. And I didn't realize that's something that has to be taught to some folks. And that made me appreciate that about me even more, that being self-aware. And that made me kind of hone in on that and find out, okay, how do I feel about this? And I started enjoying those conversations that I had with myself. But anyways, I wanted to call that out, that, self-awareness, if you haven't, that's amazing. That's something that I would don't run away from it. Or if it's something that you're working on, keep working at it, keep going, because it's super important to have, for sure.
I definitely agree with you, because if you don't know anything about yourself or don't understand what makes you tick, it's going to be hard for you to be in relationship, or even like, work in a work environment with multiple people. You'll just be conforming.
Yes.
Like every 2 seconds you
Yes.
switching, So I definitely agree with you.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
How do you define success and happiness?
Ooh, how do I define success and
Mm,
happiness? Um, I define success as now. I define success differently than I did, in my early 20s.
that's good.
Back
That's
then I
good.
defined it as, yes, I defined it then as, okay, how much, how am I doing on my bills? How much money am I making? What am I wearing? It was very materialistic, very, yeah. So, but now how I look at my success is, how am I providing for my family? And I look at, it's not really a gender thing for me either, because I feel my wife and I's role is very similar, and we can both do what we want to do. I don't only have to be the provider. She can do that if she wants to. So I want to. She has that space that she can do that. But
Mhm.
anywho, I look at seeing, okay, how am I doing? Like, am I giving my family what I said I wanted to give them? Am I, is there food on the table? Are we in a house? Are the bills paid? Um, you know, and with success as well, like, I feel like that's a continuous piece, because I don't want to ever put a ceiling on it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm successful when I'm still challenging myself, when I'm still able to learn new things. Um, and when I'm not stagnant, or when I'm not comfortable, that's when I feel like I'm successful. So that's where I'm at right now. And you said, how do I measure success and happiness? That was
Happiness. Hmm.
with happiness. uh I really find that as my own peace, when I'm peaceful with myself, and when I'm at peace, that's when I'm most happy.
Hmm.
um when I have peace of mind, and I'm not overthinking, and I'm living in the moment, and I'm smiling, and I'm laughing, and I'm making the others around me happy, because I feel like when I'm at my best, I can do that, and I do that comfortably, and that's
Hmm.
what brings me peace. you know um and having peace in our household, those are the things that make me happy these days. And I
Yeah.
practice that with, sometimes, like, if I'm overthinking, or if I'm not living in the moment, I'll wake up in the morning, when I have some time to myself, I take 10 minutes and I look up on YouTube 10-minute mindful meditation, and I'll sit there with my headphones, and it'll help me deep breathe and focus on the now. And that instantly brings me back to my calm, and I can kind of continue the day as is. Or I'll do yoga, or I'll do workouts and things that make me happy, in order to make those around me and fulfill my passion on a day to day, fulfill my purpose. As long as I'm at peace, and I find my peace within myself, then that's what makes me happy. And then I can produce what I want to every single day.
Exactly. I don't even gotta say nothing to that. That's it right there. Um, do you believe your purpose is a journey or a destination?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I feel like my purpose is a journey. Yes, I absolutely feel. Sorry, I got confident in it after I started thinking about that for myself. But yes, I absolutely think my purpose is a journey. Because like I was saying before, I always want to continue to learn and continue to grow. I was watching. I forgot who it was. I wish I could name it because it was a great interview I watched on YouTube. But somebody that was super successful. I think it was Will Smith. I forgot who it was, but they were saying like, although I got all this around me, and I've done all these things, my journey is not over yet. Like I feel like I'm just beginning because I still have the opportunity to learn and be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't have resonated with that more. So um it's definitely a journey because your purpose, although you may feel strongly about certain things, you may be passionate, as you continue to learn, your purpose will continue to evolve and it'll continue
Yeah.
to get better. So it's a continuous journey, definitely.
Do you believe that you have more than one gift? Because a lot of people think they only have one, but do you believe you have more than one?
I do. I do. I I do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about this one for a second, but
Oh
I
no,
feel
you're
like I,
fine.
I, I feel like I do. I feel like I'm every single day. I feel like I'm learning something new about me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a gift in itself to be able to learn and be able to grow. And the more that I learn, the more I want to share what I've learned with others,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a gift in itself. I find I'm grateful and I find like, happiness. And I feel like there's a gift in almost a little piece of everything. There's a gift in sharing your knowledge. There's a gift in sharing your happiness. There's a gift in making
Mm-hmm.
somebody laugh. And if I look at it in that lens, I feel like, yes, yeah, I can confidently answer and say, yes, I feel like I have more than one gift.
Yeah, you definitely do. I feel like we all have more than one. We just haven't discovered it yet.
Ooh.
I
And
really
that
do.
that and that ends it right there. That's it, y'all. Woo! Oh
It's true.
boy,
I
yes.
truly believe that. So
Yes, I do too. Yes. I I absolutely do too. That was a gem.
my last question is if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
Oh, yes. Well, first off, let me say no regrets. I'm confident, no regrets. But if I knew then what I know now, if I knew then what I know now, absolutely. Like if I could have a conversation with my 18-year-old self, the first thing I would tell myself is, look, all these physical things are not important and they will not be here 10 years from now. 10 years from now, you're not even gonna think about those things. If I could tell myself the clothes that you buy, I spent almost every check. I used to work at Man Alive in college in Flint. And Man Alive was a clothing store similar to Jimmy Jazz. It was like their sister store, parent, brother store, whatever they call it. But every check, I spent almost all of it right in that store, just buying clothes and all types of stuff that I thought was important, right? And also impressing folks, like trying to prove to everybody around me I'm this person. Okay, I want to get roasted, so let me look this way. But
Hmm.
if I knew then what was most important was not what I had on, but what I had on right here in my
Hmm.
mind. And if I could tell myself, okay, actually pick up these books or work on your mental or, start your self-care journey, self-love. Do you love yourself? I have to, yeah, I start asking myself now at 28. That's when I first started asking myself, like, if I name a things that I love, you know, telling my me wasn't on that list for a very long time.
Hmm.
Um, so if I like I said, like I try not to have any regrets because I can't change what's in my past. But if I could talk to my younger self or somebody that's on that same journey as me, that's what I would tell them. I'll tell them, these are the things that are really important that you're going to think about in the future. And I don't even know what the next 10 years are going to look like, so I'm excited to see even what changes
Yeah.
then. But if I could tell myself then that these clothes, these things that you think make you feel good, don't that's not really it. That's what I would definitely tell myself.
That's amazing. That's real. These clothes don't matter. None of this stuff matters because you can't take it with you. So, and
Facts. I can't even fit none of that stuff no more. Like that makes me mad. I spent dumb money. Like, oh my gosh.
that's so funny.
But anywho.
I love the fact that you said you started at 28. I feel like my magical number was 27. That's the year I feel like I actually started caring about myself and loving myself and doing the things that looks like making sure my actions matched my mindset at that moment. Because
Yes.
yeah, I definitely didn't. I feel like I didn't love myself enough up until
Yes.
27, but that year changed. And that was my
Man.
golden birthday too, because I'm born on June 27th. So
Oh, that year was lit. I know that year was awesome for you.
it was a
then.
great year. It was a great year.
That's amazing, yo. And
Yes.
I love talking to my friends about that now because it's so you can see it in their eyes. Like it's so enlightening when you realize what's
Mhm.
important to you, and you start taking care of yourself. I love that. I love
It
that.
changes everything for you. Changes everything.
Absolutely.
Well, Justin, I really appreciate you. This was great. I told you this was going to be a good interview. I knew you would be amazing. I'm so thankful that you were able to come on, and I really do appreciate your time.
No, thank you. Listen, thank you for what you're doing, first off, because this is amazing. Talking to spreading this to the youth, your audience. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about these things because I feel like this is another a way to reflect about, the things that's going on here. It's important to reflect, and this was just another way to remind myself what's really important. And I love what you're doing and thank you for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure.
No problem at all. Thank you so much.